viewers, good evening and a very warm welcome to all of you in today's episode of Youth Folio, our weekly magazine series in which we take you on a visual trip across the 8 amazingly beautiful states of the Northeast. We have a long queue of stories awaiting you today. We have current issues, achievers, opportunities, enterprise, health issues and lots more. Let's get cracking immediately. First comes our current issues section. Khasi community of Meghalaya celebrate their Sengkut Snem festival. Assam Chief Minister Sonowal opens Dibrugarh bypass for the public. Assam Rifles nabs many militants in the northeast. 43 footballers in ISL hail from Manipur. Northeast artisans back again to sell wares in Delhi Heart Exhibition. The Khasi community of Meghalaya, which is the largest community of the state, celebrated their Sengkut Snem Festival 2020 on the 23rd of November in a subdued manner following all corona protocols. The festival marks the end of the Khasi year and is the day before the Khasi New Year starts, which generally falls on the 24th of November. The festival is marked by speeches which did take place this year. In the previous years, this day used to be marked by joyous Khasi dances, which sees women dressed in bright Khasi jensems made of mulberry silks with brilliant headgears and bright red big beaded necklaces. The men wear dhotis topped by waistcoats and equally attractive jewelry. Their Nongkrem dance is one of the most graceful and spectacular dances of the country to behold. Many songs also used to be sung on the occasion. Indigenous games used to be played. This year, like most festivals, Sengkut Snem too remained curtailed. Assam Chief Minister Sarbananda Sonowal recently inaugurated the realignment of NH37 from Bogibeel Junction to Bokul Dibrugarh Pass at a program held at Japi Sajia in Dibrugarh. The construction of Dibrugarh Bypass, realignment of NH37 from Bogibeel Junction at kilometers 581,700 to kilometers 597.147 on engineering, procurement and construction basis of the Ministry of Road Transport and Highways has been implemented by National Highways and Infrastructure Development Corporation Limited or NHIDCL, which builds, operates, maintains and upgrades national highways and strategic roads, including interconnecting roads in parts of the country which share international boundaries with neighboring countries. The length of the project is 15.447 kilometers. The flyover has been constructed at a cost of approximately Rs 380 crore. Chief Minister Sonowal, as a part of the project, also inaugurated a railway overbridge on the stipulated stretch. He said that the roadways and ease of transport are changing the face of the Northeast.
Dibrugarh bypass to আজি উদ্বোধন কৰা হল NSIDCL অৰ্থাৎ এই সংগঠনটো আপোনালোকে জানে এই সংগঠনটো কেৱল উত্তৰ পূৰ্বাঞ্চলৰ যাতায়াত ব্যৱস্থা या আন্তঃগাঁথনি ব্যৱস্থা শক্তিশালী কৰাৰ স্বাৰ্থত গঢ় দিয়া হৈছে কেন্দ্ৰীয় চৰকাৰ তৰফৰ পৰা আৰু গতিকে এই NSIDCL এটো এটা প্ৰথম প্ৰকল্পৰ কাম সম্পূৰ্ণ হল আৰু ইয়াক উদ্বোধন কৰা হল ডিব্ৰুগড় বাইপাস টু বগিবিলৰ পৰা আজি বকুললৈকে প্ৰায় 380 কোটি টকা ব্যয় কৰি প্লাই এই প্ৰকল্পটোৰ নিৰ্মাণ কাম সম্পূৰ্ণ কৰিলে গতিকে মই ভাবো যে এনে ধৰণে আমাৰ যিখিনি কৰিব লগা আগন্তুক দিনত কাম আছে এইখিনি কাম NSIDCL নিশ্চিতভাৱে নিষ্ঠাৰে কৰি গলে
The fact that militancy in the Northeast is almost over can be gauged from the fact that soon after the surrender of Drishti Rajkhowa in Assam, militants of different underground groups have been nabbed in various states of the region by security forces. Assam Rifles, for instance, nabbed 2 hardcore Alpha I cadres from Noglo area in Tirap, Arunachal Pradesh, 1 KNA I cadre from Silent Village, Churachandpur, Manipur, 1 Kuki National Front cadre from Kangpokpi area of Manipur, and 1 KYKL cadre from Sagam Bazar in Churachandpur, Manipur. These apart, contraband items and drug peddlers were nabbed in Mizoram. Illegal timber worth Rs 38 lakh and their smugglers were apprehended in Ukhrul, Manipur. Brown sugar worth Rs 3.2 crore was seized with their women peddler in More, Manipur.
The club that was only established in 2013 but the top of the table.
The 7th edition of Indian Super League ISL, which is a hugely popular premier football tournament of the country, which kick-started on the 20th of November in Goa, includes as many as 43 footballers from Manipur spread across 11 top clubs of the tournament. Many of these footballers have made it to FIFA Under-17 World Cup also. The teams, which include footballers from Manipur, whose names you can check in our graphics, are players representing ATK Mohan Bagan FC, Bengaluru FC, Chennai FC, FC Goa, Hyderabad FC, Jamshedpur FC, Kerala Blasters, Mumbai FC, Northeast United FC, Odisha FC, and SC East Bengal. This talent pool has been developed over the years by consistent training and practice from grassroots, the sports culture of Manipur, and the passion of the people of the state towards sports in general and football in particular. The state has over 15 football academies for kids alone, wherein talent can be tapped and channelized. For the young, there are about 10 football clubs that have made it to the state league. The footballers themselves take great pains to excel individually too. This is Muhammad Nawaz from Manipur, who is the current goalkeeper of FC Goa in the Indian Super League. Born on the 21st of January 2000, Nawaz takes great pains to keep his fitness and energy in top gear by heavy exercises. The pains he takes is reflected by the alacrity with which he stops every opponent from hitting goals, thus helping his team immensely. The other players of the state too are footballers to look out for. Exhibitions are back again and people are flocking Delhi Haat in the national capital, making the artisans of the country, including from the northeast, very happy. Walking around the venue, we met clothes entrepreneur Bethany from Manipur and Kim Sharma from Assam. Bethany had brought in an array of beautiful faneks, inafis, salwar kurtas, jackets, shawls, etc. made of Manipuri weaves. She managed to sell some woolen ponchos right in front of our cameras. Bethany says that the lockdown necessitated by the pandemic caused her huge losses and she somehow earned some meager money by making and selling masks. These two were brought to Delhi Haat for sale at Rs 50 per mask.
इतना महीना लॉकडाउन के अंदर में पूरा बैठ गया तो सारा स्टॉक वहाँ पे पड़ा हुआ है 25 लाख का स्टॉक पड़ा हुआ है कुछ बिका हुआ नहीं है अब भी निकला हुआ है
Kim Sharma, a Limca book record holder for fastest knitting, had brought in dolls and teddies made by crochet priced between rupees 500 to rupees 900. Caps, mufflers, frocks, etc. also made by her during the lockdown were brought for sale here.
मैं असम से हूँ। मैं अपना सामान हम लोग खेलना डॉल्स बनाती है और ये सब को लेकर हम यहाँ तक पहुँचे। अपना टैलेंट, अपना सामान, अपना डिज़ाइंस, अपना का जितना हम अपना हाथ से बनाया हुआ हैंडीक्राफ्ट यहाँ पे INA दिल्ली हाट पे हम लोग ले आए। हर साल पे आए अलग अलग न्यू डिज़ाइंस, न्यू आइटम्स। इस बार कोरोना का वजह से बाहर के सामान भी नहीं आ सका और हमारा अपना का डिज़ाइन अपना पे डिपेंड करने के लिए मैं ये डॉल बनाया अपना हाथ से, ताकि बाहर से हम लोग का सामान लेना भी बंद हो गया। और कोई भी सामान है जितना हम लोग कर सकता है अपना से मेहनत करके अलग अलग डिज़ाइन बनाया है।
Apart from these individual stalls, items of artisans from all over the northeast, from cane and bamboo crafts to corner crafts to jackets, jhapi, mekhla, etc. are available round the year in Purbasri Emporium shops, which have been booked by the Ministry of Donair in Delhi Haat. Among the 4 stalls, one is run by the Northeastern Handicrafts and Handlooms Development Corporation or NEHHDC, a body under the Ministry of Donair, and the other 3 are given to different artisans from Assam, Manipur and Nagaland. The Northeast thus has a good presence in Delhi Haat.
हमारा ओन स्टॉल में हमारा पूरा एंटायर नॉर्थ ईस्ट का सामान है, जैसे नागालैंड का भी है, नागालैंड हैंडलूम है, त्रिपुरा का है, अरुणाचल का है, सिक्किम का है, सिक्किम का हैंडलूम है और असम का है। ये सारा एक साथ जो सब डेकोरेटेड आइटम्स है और ट्रे वगैरह हैं।
Friends, we'll slip into a very short ad break here. Don't go anywhere, don't switch channels. We'll be back with you in a few seconds' time. First Word, a complete monthly magazine of the Northeast, read by who's who of the land. Packaging news and current affairs, sports, culture, festivals, achievers, life in metro and lots more. Buy the magazine today from stalls across the Northeast and New Delhi at ₹50 per copy or subscribe for 12 issues by paying ₹550 online. For details, contact 98101 29327. Coming next on Youthfolio is our health segment. With the corona pandemic showing no signs of abating, keeping oneself in good health and safeguarding oneself from the virus has become of paramount interest to most of us. Let's hear what the doctor has to say about this. Oxygen is being used almost as a drug in these COVID times. Many patients have died due to lack of oxygen supplies in the hospitals of some states. COVID-infected patients are being advised to use pulse oximeters and keep check on their oxygen levels at all times and get immediate hospitalization if their SpO2 or oxygen saturation levels reach 90 or below. We asked Dr. M.C. Misra, former director of AIIMS New Delhi and a leading surgeon, cancer specialist and trauma care expert of the country, about this huge importance of oxygen in COVID times.
We have seen that oxygen somehow has come out a savior in this pandemic. Lot of patients, if you look at, are what a phenomena we have termed during this pandemic, what is known as happy hypoxia. So because of the lung involvement, pneumonia, depending on how much lung has been involved, 25%, 50%, 75%, patients do develop hypoxia, and beyond a certain critical point, if that hypoxia persists, somebody can die rapidly a cardiorespiratory arrest takes place and some people are dying because of this. So oxygen has been a savior, I would say, has been used as a drug in this pandemic, not as a supplement otherwise. And you have seen that there have been shortages of oxygen in between certain states, and that was quite a hot topic for discussion 2 months ago. So yes, oxygen stores need to be created in each hospital, either by way of cylinder or through a central supply from a big oxygen tank.
The festive season has resulted in a huge surge of corona cases countrywide. Doctors fear that the coming winter months are going to further worsen the situation. Hospitals in many states, including the national capital, are unable to accommodate the number of patients. But despite this situation, many people are still not taking adequate care or precaution. The Delhi government has increased the fine for not wearing masks in public places from Rs 500 to Rs 2000. Other states are also thinking on the same lines.
I would say yes, there is a surge, and which we all were anticipating for quite some time, because we all knew that this is going to be a festive season. Reopening has across board has happened. Public transport has begun. Offices have been opened. People are traveling. Markets, you see the crowds in the marketplaces, shopping spree on which people are there. So all this, starting from Ganesh Chaturthi to Navratri to Dashera to Diwali and post Diwali, Chhat, etc., they have definitely contributed towards this sudden surge of patients with infection and also severe infection, and that is why there is a shortage of ICU beds in the hospital. Now, and people are not taking precautions. If you see marketplaces, there are large number of people, they are not putting on masks, and that is the reason Delhi government had to introduce increased fines.
Next, we asked Dr. Misra about the vaccines that are being developed. What is the actual status? By when can people actually expect to be vaccinated against the virus? And how safe and effective are these vaccines?
Now, if you look at the situation of vaccine status as of today, if we look at, there are 3 vaccine candidates which are leading in India. The 4th one has been added, like the Sputnik vaccine from Russia. The 3 vaccines which I am talking of, the first and foremost is the Bharat Biotech, ICMR and NIV, National Institute of Virology, Pune, joint venture, which they are coming out with a vaccine. Then another vaccine which is Oxford and Serum Institute collaboration through AstraZeneca. Their phase 3 trials are ongoing. The Bharat Biotech vaccine also has entered into phase 3 trial. And the third one is the Zydus Cadila. The Pfizer also has come about. Then Sputnik. Vaccine with Reddy's lab. So I think these vaccines give a lot of promise, as you've been highlighted in the reports also, that they are effective in above 90%. So that's a good news. Phase 3 trials are ongoing. The one thing I would say, the safety of these vaccines have been ensured already in phase 1 and phase 2 trial. So what is remaining to be established is the immunogenicity, development of cell-mediated immunity, antibodies, and dosages in various age groups, for children, for elderly, for adults, and 2 dosages of this vaccines are needed, which is the Serum Institute Oxford vaccine, and also there are 2 vaccines, leading vaccines from USA, Moderna and Pfizer. They are in advanced stage of trials. So we hope that these vaccines are available by January, February, and trials are over by March, and we are able to start vaccination by July, August.
We will bring Dr. Misra's advice about post-COVID care and focus on the Northeast in our next edition. Well friends, we have to bring a wrap on our episode now as we've absolutely run out of our episode time. Let's check out the names of our contest winners of this week. For our contest section, we had asked, whose surrender ceremony did we show in the episode? The answer is Alpha I Deputy Commander-in-Chief Drishti Rajkhowa and his 4 accomplices. The winners are Korobi Basumatari from Kokrajhar, Assam, Ramthar Shimra from Ukhrul, Manipur, and Tayanla Form from Dimapur, Nagaland. Congratulations winners! We will recharge your mobile phones with ₹500 each within a week's time. Viewers who wish to take part in our contest this time, watch this dance very carefully. You have to name the dance and the state from which the dance comes from. Rush your entries to youth_folio@yahoo.com or SMS or WhatsApp to 98101-29327. Don't forget to tune in to Youth Folio again next Saturday at 7:30 p.m. only on DD Assam. You could also check our earlier episodes on YouTube and please also subscribe to our Vision channel on YouTube. See you all next Saturday. Until then, goodbye and take very good care of yourselves. Protect yourselves from the virus at any cost.